Greetings from Mountain Nelson Missionary Baptist Church. My name is Jimmy Dale. I'm the pastor here. It's a beautiful day outside, but we're not able to meet in here yet. But I do have something I'd like to share with you. Jesus said in the Sermon on the Mount, "You have heard that it was said to those of old, you shall not murder, and whoever murders will be in danger of the judgment. But I say unto you, whoever is angry with his brother without a cause is in danger of the judgment. And whoever says to his brother, Raca, is in danger of the council. But whoever says, you fool, is in danger of hellfire. Therefore, if you go before the altar and there remember that your brother has something against you, leave your gift there before the altar and go your way. First be reconciled to your brother, then come and offer your gift. Agree with your adversary quickly while you are on the way with him, lest your adversary deliver you to the judge, and the judge hand you over to the officer, and the officer throw you into prison. Or surely I say to you, you shall not get out of there till you have paid the last penny." Why do we have such a tendency within ourselves to want to portray ourselves as being religious? I think the real danger here, and I think the real what Jesus is one of the key points of what Jesus is getting to, is that not just the danger of being angry with our brothers. Here's the deceptive danger that often we miss, even in our Baptist churches. We want to pretend to be religious. We want to, well, it's not that we're doing it purposefully. It's just that somehow religion has become a source of pride. We care more about the appearance of things as opposed to the substance of things. We get into the form of the worship, into the formalities of the service itself, and neglect the more weightier things. And somehow, by doing that, we miss the whole point of the service anyway, to bring us to a place where we're confronted with who we are in the sight of God and why we need His grace. And what Jesus is getting to here in this Sermon on the Mount, He is stripping away these things that the Pharisees, not just the Pharisees, but the people too, were using as a means of covering up their real problem. See, the real problem here is that we all are sinners. And He takes these 6 things here. And I want to say that you see these things in the Sermon on the Mount. He starts out each one. You've heard that it was said to those of old, but I say unto you. Listen, folks, all these things have one main point. The inability of man to save himself. No matter how hard you try, no matter what you do, you're never going to be good enough. Which is why Jesus said, and He said, listen to His words here, unless your righteousness exceeds the righteousness of the scribes and Pharisees, you will no wise enter the kingdom of heaven. Again, at the end of chapter 5, He says, be ye therefore perfect as your Father in heaven is perfect. Well, who among us can be perfect? There's only been one. His name is Jesus. But He is the standard of righteousness. So when we compare ourselves to Jesus, instead of comparing ourselves to each other, which is what we often do, we come into the church, we sit in the pews, we look at how much each other gives, and folks, it's all deceptive. We're fooling ourselves, but we're not fooling God. God sees the heart, which is what Jesus is doing in this Sermon on the Mount. He's stripping away those things where we hide our real problem. Our real problem is the Bible says, for all have sinned and fall short of the glory of God. That's the problem. That's why we need God's grace. That's why Jesus died on the cross. He died to save people like you and people like me. My friends, when you think of this passage and you think of the danger or the damage that anger does within our lives, is it any question to you that we need God's grace? I can think of things that I've said to my loved ones, and I've done some things. I've said some things that were very hurtful. See, this is all evidence of our need, or of my need, of God's grace. But thank God, He sent His Son to die on the cross for somebody just like me. And if He did that for me, I believe He did that for you.